Captain Alexander Reed stood on the deck of the USS Ohio, the lead ship of its class. As it slipped beneath the waves of the Atlantic in 1981, Alexander was a man of quiet strength, with piercing blue eyes that hid the storm within. He had left behind his wife, Isabella, and their newborn daughter, Lily, in a small coastal town in Virginia. "I'll be back before she says her first word," he had promised Isabella, kissing her forehead under the porch light. The Ohio-class submarines were marvels of American engineering, over 560 feet long, displacing 18,750 tons submerged, powered by a nuclear reactor that allowed them to patrol indefinitely. Each carried up to 24 Trident II missiles, each missile armed with multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicles, MIRVs, capable of delivering warheads with yields up to 475 kilotons. A single Ohio-class sub could unleash devastation equivalent to thousands of Hiroshima bombs, enough to cripple any nation on Earth. But for Alexander, it was more than statistics. During a routine patrol in 1983, amid the height of Reagan-era tensions, the Ohio received a coded message, a false alarm of incoming Soviet missiles. The crew tensed, fingers hovering over launch controls. Alexander, as the executive officer, felt the weight of the world. In his mind, he saw Isabella's face, Lily's tiny hands. "We don't fire unless confirmed," he barked, his voice steady despite the fear gnawing at him. Hours later, it was revealed as a glitch in the early warning system. Alexander returned home a changed man, hugging Isabella tighter than ever. But the incident haunted him. Years later, in 1991, as the Cold War thawed, he retired, dedicating his life to anti-nuclear advocacy. "That sub could destroy a country," he told crowds. "But it nearly destroyed my soul." Elias paused, his voice cracking. "Alexander was my friend. He died last year, but his story lives on." The Ohio class, with 14 boats still in service as of 2025, remains the backbone of U.S. nuclear deterrence. But remember, Amelia, power like that comes at a cost, the humanity of those who wield it. F-52, F-3. In the frozen shipyards of Severodvinsk, Russia, Lieutenant Natalia Kuznetsova watched as the Yuri Dolgoruki, the first Borei-class submarine, was commissioned in 2013. Natalia, with her raven hair and unyielding resolve, was one of the few women in the Russian Navy's submarine force. Her husband Dmitry, a fisherman from Murmansk, had begged her not to go. "The sea is cruel, Natasha," he said, holding their son Ivan close. But duty called, and Natalia answered. The Borei-class, or Project 955, were sleek predators, 580 feet long, displacing 24,000 tons submerged. Powered by an OK-650V reactor, they could dive to 2,500 feet and carry 16 Bulava missiles, each with up to 10 MIRVs yielding 150 kilotons apiece. A single salvo could erase a continent's worth of targets, making them Russia's answer to global threats. During a 2018 patrol in the Arctic, Natalia's sub detected unusual activity, NATO vessels probing Russian waters. Tensions escalated, and for a harrowing 48 hours, the crew prepared for the worst. Natalia, manning the sonar, heard the pings like heartbeats. In the quiet moments, she wrote letters to Dmitry and Ivan, pouring out her love and fears. "If the world ends, know that I fought for peace," she scribbled. The standoff de-escalated, but Natalia returned with scars invisible to the eye. She left the Navy in 2020, reuniting with her family, but nightmares of icy depths persisted. In 2025, with 8 Borei-class subs operational, Russia touted them as invincible, yet Natalia knew the truth. They can destroy countries, but they shatter families first. Elias wiped a tear. "I met Natalia at a peace conference in Geneva. Her strength inspired me. These machines are not just weapons, they're cages for the brave." 26E-26. The Dmitry Donskoy, the last active Typhoon-class submarine, loomed like a myth in the Barents Sea. Commissioned in 1980, these Soviet giants, known as Project 941 Akula, were the largest submarines ever built, stretching 574 feet and displacing 48,000 tons submerged. Captain Viktor Petrov, a burly man with a heart as vast as the ocean, commanded it during its heyday. Viktor's love was Elena, a poet from Leningrad, who waited for him with their daughter Sophia. "Come back to me, my sea wolf," she whispered before each deployment. The Typhoon carried 20 R-39 missiles, each with 10 MIRVs of 200 kilotons, capable of leveling entire nations in minutes. In 1986, amid Chernobyl's fallout, Victor's sub was on alert. A misinterpreted exercise nearly triggered a launch. Victor, staring at the red button, thought of Elena's poems about cherry blossoms in spring. "No," he commanded, halting the sequence. The error was corrected, but Victor was forever altered. By 2025, only one Typhoon remained, repurposed for testing, but its legacy endured. Victor, retired and frail, visited schools warning of the madness. "This submarine could destroy the world," he said, "but love saved it and me." Amelia leaned forward. "Did he save the world, Grandpa?" Elias nodded. "In his way, yes. The Typhoon was a monster, but men like Victor tamed it. Off the coast of Scotland, in the depths of Faslane, Lieutenant Commander Olivia Hartley served aboard HMS Vanguard, the namesake of Britain's nuclear deterrent. Launched in 1993, the Vanguard-class subs measured 491 feet, displacing 15,900 tons, with a Rolls-Royce PWR-2 reactor propelling them silently. Each carried 16 Trident II missiles, mirroring their American counterparts in destructive potential. Olivia, with her emerald eyes and fierce determination, had left her partner, James, and their adopted son, Theo, in London. "This is for their future," she told James, though doubt lingered. In 2016, during a patrol shadowed by Russian hunters, the Vanguard evaded detection in a cat-and-mouse game that lasted days. Olivia, in the control room, felt the isolation keenly. She recorded messages for Theo, stories of underwater wonders to mask the terror. The crisis passed, but Olivia's return was bittersweet. In 2025, with 4 Vanguard-class subs guarding the UK, plans for their dreadnought successors loomed. Olivia, now an advocate for disarmament, spoke of the toll. "These subs can erase countries, but they erase pieces of us too." Elias's voice softened. "Olivia's story reminds us that even in the mightiest nations, the human cost is universal." In the Bay of Biscay, Commander Lucien Moreau commanded Le Triomphant, France's pride since 1997. These subs, 453 feet long and displacing 14,335 tons, featured a K-15 reactor and carried 16 M51 missiles, each with up to 10 MIRVs of 100 to 150 kilotons. Lucien's heart belonged to Marie, his wife, and their daughter, Celeste. In Brest, "The sea is my mistress, but you are my life," he joked before submerging. In 2009, Le Triomphant collided with HMS Vanguard in a freak accident, both undetected. The near catastrophe, warheads intact but hulls damaged, shook Lucien. He imagined Marie's grief, Celeste's unanswered questions. Repaired and redeployed, Lucien retired in 2015, haunted by the abyss. By 2025, 4 Triomphant-class subs formed France's force de frappe. Lucien, teaching history, emphasized, "Power to destroy nations lies in these hulls, but true strength is in choosing peace." Elias closed his eyes. Lucien's collision was a wake-up call. These 5, the Ohio, Borei, Typhoon, Vanguard, and Triomphant, represent the pinnacle of destruction. Yet their stories are of restraint, love, and hope. Amelia hugged him. "Thank you, Grandpa. It's terrifying, but beautiful." As the fire crackled, Elias whispered, "May we never need them. For in their silence lies our salvation." The story continues with deeper explorations of each character's life. Post-service, family reunions, anti-war movements, and a climactic global summit in 2025 where survivors advocate for disarmament. Alexander's daughter Lily becomes a diplomat. Natalia's son Ivan, a marine biologist. Sophia writes books on peace. Theo joins Greenpeace. Celeste paints murals of unity. Through flashbacks, we see near launches averted by human compassio.